There is a story buried deep in the folds of Islamic tradition that almost no one talks about. A moment so heavy that it makes even the strongest heart tremble, and yet it is rarely discussed in detail: the fate of Iblis. We all know the surface story, the defiance when Allah commanded the angels and jinn to bow before Adam. But what happened after that rebellion, and what it truly meant for the destiny of mankind, is far more profound than most realize. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments, from which country are you watching this video? And subscribe to this channel if you love Islam. Iblis was not an ordinary figure. He was once counted among the most devout worshippers. His devotion was so intense that he was elevated to stand in the company of angels, though he was of the jinn. Imagine that: so much worship, so much recognition, and then in a single instant, everything collapsed. Allah created Adam, fashioned him with his own hands, and commanded all to bow. The angels obeyed without hesitation, recognizing the wisdom of their Creator. But Iblis refused. This was not a simple no. It was a declaration of pride, a rebellion against the command of the Lord of the worlds. His words still echo in the Qur'an: "I am better than him. You created me from fire, and you created him from clay." This one statement reveals the poison of arrogance. He compared, he judged, and he considered himself superior. In that arrogance lay the seed of eternal destruction. The refusal was not ignorance, it was deliberate pride. And pride, in Islam, is the root of all downfall. Think about this carefully. Iblis had witnessed the power of Allah. He had lived in the presence of the angels. He knew more than any of us the greatness of his Lord. Yet still, arrogance blinded him. If someone with so much knowledge and experience could be destroyed by pride, what about us who sin so easily, who make excuses, who often put our ego before obedience? That is why his story matters, because it is not only about him, but a mirror for our own hearts. Allah's curse descended upon him instantly, but here lies a mystery. Why was he not destroyed on the spot? Why was he given time? This is where the story becomes more intense, because Allah's wisdom goes beyond our understanding. The defiance of Iblis was not just a single moment in history. It became a trial for all humanity until the end of time. And so his arrogance not only sealed his fate, but became the stage on which the story of mankind would unfold. Iblis's arrogance is not just about bowing or refusing, it is about something deeper. It is about pride that makes one forget their place. He thought fire was greater than clay, but he forgot that honor is not in the material of your creation, but in your obedience to Allah. He forgot that knowledge, status, and history mean nothing if your heart is filled with arrogance. And this arrogance is what sealed his fate forever. So when we talk about Iblis, we are not just retelling an old story. We are opening a door to understand the greatest enemy of mankind and the greatest weakness within ourselves. The arrogance that sealed his fate is the same arrogance that can destroy us if we do not guard our hearts. And from this very beginning we learn a timeless truth. The greatest fall begins not with ignorance, but with pride. The moment Iblis refused to bow was not left unanswered. Allah declared his curse upon him, stripping him of the rank he once enjoyed and casting him out in disgrace. But here's where the story takes a turn that many overlook. The curse was not just a rejection, it was a sentence. Iblis would be among the despised until the day of judgment. Imagine the weight of those words, living not for years, not for centuries, but until the very end of this world, carrying the label of the cursed one. For most of us, the thought of being cut off from Allah's mercy, even for a single moment, is terrifying. For Iblis, this became his eternal reality. Yet he was not destroyed. This is where the mystery deepens. If Allah willed, he could have ended Iblis in that very instant, wiping him from existence as a warning for all creation. But instead, Allah chose to let him remain. Why? The Quran reveals that Iblis asked for a delay, for respite until the day humans would be resurrected, and astonishingly, Allah granted it. Think about that. The most rebellious of creation made a request, and it was accepted. But it was not mercy in the way we think of mercy. It was part of a divine plan that would unfold until the last hour. This delayed punishment was not a pardon. It was a sentence postponed, not erased. And in that postponement lies wisdom, because Iblis became the test, the trial, the whisper in the dark against which mankind must struggle. Every act of arrogance, every temptation, every sin whispered in our hearts traces back to that single request he made. And from that moment on, Iblis did not waste a second. He swore by Allah's majesty that he would spend every breath deceiving mankind. Now pause and reflect on this. The curse that was declared against Iblis is not just about his personal downfall, it is also about us. For as long as he lives, we are living in the age of deception. Every day of our lives is touched by the ripples of his defiance. When you feel pride boiling in your chest, when envy clouds your mind, when laziness drags you away from worship, those are the fingerprints of Iblis at work. This is the reality of the curse. It chained him to destruction, but it also unleashed him as a trial for mankind. And so we arrive at the delayed punishment, the part of the story that unsettles many hearts. Why allow the deceiver to walk among us? Why grant him the time to build his army, to spread corruption, to whisper in every corner of the earth? The answer lies in the very essence of free will. Without Iblis, obedience would be effortless. Without temptation, faith would never be tested. Without struggle, there would be no true submission. And Allah, in His perfect wisdom, allowed this trial so that every choice we make carries real weight. This is why the scholars say Iblis is not just a curse to himself, but a mirror for humanity. He is the embodiment of arrogance and rebellion, living proof of what happens when pride overcomes obedience. His delayed punishment is not a blessing for him, it is a stage for us, a battlefield where we prove whether we will follow him into ruin or resist him and rise in the ranks of the righteous. The curse marked the beginning of his disgrace. The delay ensured that his rebellion would serve a greater purpose. But make no mistake, though he was granted time, his end is certain. The fire awaits him, eternal and inescapable, and every moment of his existence is simply leading him closer to it. And in that delay, there is a lesson for us all. Do not mistake respite for forgiveness, and do not confuse time with mercy. Because when the hour strikes, the curse will reach its full reality, and Iblis's arrogance will collapse under the weight of Allah's perfect justice. The question that lingers in the hearts of many is this: why would Allah, the most merciful, allow Iblis to live after such open rebellion?
欢迎来到印度人区每日必玩挑战。今天跳舞城的2位帅哥将挑战，谁能用最快的舒服通过所有关卡？最快通关的人将获得园长提供的柴米油盐。他们现在正处于跳远7个关卡，离得越远难度越大，难度越大，比较考验选手的跳跃能力。不仅要跳得远，还要踩得准。2人几乎同时过关。接下来迷你高尔夫，将球依次打进对应洞内体。这关非常考验选手的力道控制力，这力道大了小了都不行。蓝衣小哥摔先通过关卡，接下来这关悄悄打过了。真搞不懂这么多的花样玩法，主办方是如何想出来的？想要过关，不仅仅靠自己的实力，还得靠运气支撑。看着很难，其实一点也不简单。经过2分半钟的投篮，依然没人进球，看来运气都不怎么好，只管投球，其他交给运气。好的飞衣小哥运气稍好，飞衣小哥率先来到下一关，这关就简单的多了，只需将球投进前面框上，就算过关。经过2次投球试探，终 于在第3球投进，飞一小哥依旧遥遥领先。飞一小哥率先来到放飞小球砸铁门关前，只需推球将对面铁门撞翻即可。这个游戏最崩的就是选手需要自己去捡球，消耗选手的体力，不说每次捡完球还得重新瞄准。不过尽管如此，飞一小哥依旧稳定发挥，手不抖眼不斜，丝滑过关。而此时蓝衣小哥依旧在前一关挣扎，接下来这关并不难，只需选手把握好力度，将球踢进洞即可。这黑衣小哥在干嘛？力道不是大的就是小哥，好在终于进入。看样子前2球是在试探力道。这时蓝衣小哥终于是追救上来，这蓝衣小哥确实有2把刷子，直接一发入网，直接后来居上，抢先来到下一关。这一关需要将球以打台球的方式将球打进玻璃瓶即可。这关依旧考验选手的运气，2球全歪。此时黑衣小哥终于是追了上来。这关看似很难，其实一点也不简单。进不进球全靠球的意愿，无论蓝衣小哥怎么打球，就是不进瓶子。比赛进入了短暂的尴尬，无论2人怎么换角度，球就是不进。现在2人仅相差1个球的距离，只要稍微不留神，就容易被打超。随着时间的推移，黑衣小哥开始着急，但是越急就是越进不了。蓝衣小哥运气爆棚，又进不了，距离再一次拉大。比赛就是这么的有趣，不能光看人气的劣势，只要稍微大一点的球速之间不一样。黑衣小哥也很无奈，前期那么大的优势，现在荡然无存。恭喜蓝衣小哥获得今天的胜利。